It's your boy. How's it going, Lexi? Having a pretty good day. Doing a little bit of modeling. How are you doing? Mm-hmm. How's it going, Nova? This is Maya. Doing good? Love it. Love that. Just got done eating some Eggos. Let's go. Breakfast of Kings. That's what I'm talking about. first time someone's proud to be in a live chat, by the way. As an animator, I can only imagine the hours you take to... yeah. Well, I'm glad I could reply to you in chat. Nice to meet you. I do put a lot of work and time into my stuff. Definitely takes a lot of effort to get everything done, but it's always worth it. It is always worth it. How long have you been animating, Nova? I should animate while watching this. Heck yeah. Put some music on. I apologize that I have no music going, but what are you going to do? I won't be here too long today. I have plans with a couple of friends. But I figured I would stream and say hi to you guys while I'm doing some modeling here. Making a prop for the second episode of Skifters. Right now, this portion is looking pretty good here. And then the bottom half has yet to be fleshed out a little better. This is all still really low poly, but this is the basic structure that we're going to go with for now. How's it going, Rat Muncher? Been animating for about 5 years. Very nice. Love that. Love to meet a fellow animator. You guys excited for the pilot? The pilot will be public this coming weekend. Really excited for y'all to see it. Really happy with how it turned out. Would anyone do that for? Just woke up. Good morning. Heck yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited about the pilot. I'm excited to see what you guys think. Just give me some space. Page 37, let's go. Won't be what you expected. Chatting 3D was my boy, was it complex. The menu looked like a spaceship control. Yeah, 3D software can be a lot to digest at first glance. That's for sure. Wonder what the concept art / character turnaround look like for the Skifters characters. I actually didn't make any. So this character we haven't met yet. But you guys will see more of him later. His name is Max. And this is like I can like rotate around to kind of like see what he looks like. There's a bit of a hole here I need to deal with. But I don't have any concept art. I just started like figuring it out, you know? I kind of conceptualize in my head and then just start modeling, which is probably not the best way to go about it. But got to do what we got to do, you know? Won't be what you expected. But yeah, this is a new prop that we'll be using in episode 2. It's called the Moon. It's called the Moon Strider. And we'll see a little bit more of it in the animated segments to come. Yes, today's character's clothing, though I don't plan on using him for a few months. Yeah, I won't be animating with this prop for a long time either. I feel ya. Wonder what those containers contain. I don't know. We'll see. Your style looks so simple. It looks like 2D at first glance. I mistook it for 2D animation. Yeah, my style is all 3D, and my taste definitely aligns with simplistic, lineless, crisp. I like to think of it as like crisp and like clean, hard edges, which in 3D usually comes across as very 2D animation, which is okay with me because that's the style that I like. Because I very much enjoy 2D animation as much as I would argue that I enjoy a lot of the things that I enjoy more often 2D than not. It's hard to achieve, or at least it's not very common to achieve the style that I like in 3D animation. Some people do it, but it's usually reserved for 2D, the kind of stuff that I like. Forbidden things. We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah, something more like that. Don't like him already. Yeah, Max. His name is Max Ammo, and he's definitely bad news. He's gonna be fun though. But he's definitely bad news. Have you ever seen Wander Over Yonder? I have not. What he is, try hard. Do you write the plot for Skifters? I have some experience in writing. It's always better to write the story down first, by the way. I do write everything down first. I do have all of the plot for Skifters written out. Some things change as you go. I technically already had this prop created, and then I decided that I wanted to do some bits of animation that wouldn't really work for how it was designed. So I'm changing the way that it's designed by making it over. And then as a result, it's going to change the plot a little bit because it's going to work differently. So sometimes you have to make changes like that on the fly. But for the most part, the general main plot is all written before I start working. So I already know how Skifters is going to end. I know what everyone's going to do and what they think and what they feel. This character will he will be a bit of an anti-hero. He's definitely opposition for Torque off the cuff, but his motivations are not quite they're not quite aligned with the main story. He's kind of got his own stuff going on, which will all kind of make sense and come to fruition when he gets on the screen and kind of explains himself. But he should be a lot of fun. And this is his prop, and this thing is going to be really gangster, I promise. Right now it looks like nothing, but I promise I'm cooking. How's it going, Will? Okay, I think it needs to be a little bigger in general. Something like that. It's also going to have a little thing like this. Build your walls, advertise on them. Something like that. That is the basic silhouette that we're going to go with here. And oh, I'm feeling that choice in the way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Heck yeah, that's dope. The first things that I made when I was still learning was I used Dragon Force music. Dragon Force is a power metal band that I really like. Back when I was learning and I was making some almost like schooling projects. I didn't go to school, but I was kind of on my learning journey, figuring things out. I kind of had a little project that I used to learn with, and I used Dragon Force music. It's always a good feeling when you find music that's like, yes, this totally fits what I'm going for, you know? I'm feeling that choice in the way. Okay. Pretty happy with this base silhouette. I think that this thing is going to be... I think it's going to be blue. I think it's going to be a bright blue. It could just be his red. We might just do that. Oh, a depressing epiphany. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you, sir. Something like that is our basic vibe. What could this do? You know? It's the question we got to ask ourselves. I think half the reason why it fits is because I love the game, but still, that's all right. Just add IK trains. The worst part of rigging, dude. It is not a gun or a sword. IK constraints, pretty nasty. Pretty not fun. Rigging sucks. I basically do no rigging. Next to no rigging work. Rigging, dude. Don't even get me started. Cannot stand rigging. I do, like my characters, I don't like outsource my rigging. I do it myself. But Maya has this little built-in window here called Human IK. And there's just, I don't know what your software you're using, but there's lots of stuff like this out there. Like I'm sure Blender has something like this. It's basically like an auto rigger. It rigs things, like it creates the bones, and it automatically creates the controllers that like put in the IK handles and stuff. So I lose a lot of control because I don't do it myself. But I've made up for that in other ways. But I model the character, I set the bones, and then it basically like puts the controllers on for me because that part is just so miserable. Because I don't like to rig. That is not fun. Some people love it, totally respect it. It's just like, ugh, it's like the worst part. So what is it? It's not a flamethrower. I can't tell you what it is. I can't just give you the key for free. Come on. You guys haven't even seen episode 1 yet. I can't be spoiling episode 2. Its name is the Moon Strider. I don't know if that's a helpful hint or not, but that is what it's called. And I'm just kind of sitting around procrastinating, not really knowing what part of this I want to model next. It's kind of daunting, to be honest. I think I got to model this thing next. This is like the main frame, but it's going to be probably the most complicated bit. But we got to get started at some point, am I right? Let's get rocking. Let's get... Excuse me. Rocking. A bat. It's not a bat. Rigify for Maya. Yeah, I'm not sure what Rigify, how that works, but basically it's like it's doing the heavy lifting for me. It's automatically like giving me the joints and stuff. So if that is what Rigify does, then yes, it's just like that. Well, this lever, I don't know if this is also helpful, but this lever is also going to pull forwards. So you'll hold it like this. You hold it like this, and then you'll pull this trigger here. And then this lever is what you're going to use to basically restart the mechanism. Thank you. My sneezes are crazy. I am allergic to dust, but I feel like that sneeze was just a random one. It happens to the best of us. It happens. Okay. So what we need to do is we definitely need to make a little slice here for the lever to flip. So let's make a little cut like that. And then we're going to take these two and we're going to extrude them downwards like that, which is going to give us this little slice. And I definitely want the whole thing to slice further, but I'm not going to worry about getting too far with that right now. So now this lever here can open to about there. Is about how far I need it to go. So do we want this to go up like that? Something like that. Okay, we're going to extrude this like so. lost down my one-track mind, feet on ground. Yeah, that looks pretty swag. I don't know where this edge came from. It is not a sword. It's not a weapon of any kind. Okay. I think I might want this to bend a little bit. What if it was something like that? No. If anything, I want it to go like that. There we go. This thing is so cool. So cool. Cannot wait. I cannot wait to animate this thing. Anything's a weapon if you're in a pinch. That's kind of going to be the vibe, I think. I think that might end up being where we get. Memories. Yeah, he'll be getting a lot of that sort of stuff just based on his vibe. But yeah, we'll get there. I promise I won't fumble. I won't fumble the ball with Max here. It's like a key. I can't say. I can't say. I can't say. But you guys are looming closer. I'll tell you that. Okay. This was a mistake. So let's fix it. Let's delete these and bridge those. Bridge that and bridge that. Then this needs to come down. And this needs to match that one. Okay, better. This shouldn't go all the way down to there either. So we'll delete these. bridge those. Bridge those. And then boom. Epic. I want to make a little window, but I'm wondering if this should encapsulate the entire bottom. I wonder if there will be any giant weapons. You guys are going to have to watch the pilot. You're going to have to watch the pilot. It's coming down this weekend. This coming Saturday. The pilot will be live on Saturday the 5th, and it's going to premiere so we can all watch it together, which I think will be fun. It's going to be 5 p.m. Eastern time. 5 p.m. Eastern on the 5th of July. So be there or be square, because it's going to be freaking lit. I'm one more Blender crash away from getting Maya, and if Maya crashes, I'm going to run off into the woods and never use technology for the next 100 years. Yes, Maya does crash. I'll warn you now. But that is just the world that we live in, where this crap is that's just how technology works. Like it's imperfect and it will crash. It won't crash all the time, and there are ways that you can better your situation where it crashes less. I'm sure there's ways to do that in Blender as well. But yeah, every program crashes. There is no exception. Fortunately, Maya does not crash very often on me, but it used to a lot before I knew what I was doing. And yes, it does shoot something. Kind of. Imagine if the software crashes right now. Please no. Very rarely. I mean, now I'm kind of tempting fate, but very rarely does Maya crash when I'm modeling. When Maya crashes for me is if I'm foolishly. Well, it's not foolish. It's foolish because it crashes. But if I'm Control Z, like undoing. If I'm undoing. Keyframe deletions, it crashes. So what that means is, like, if I set a keyframe and then I'm like, oh, that keyframe sucks, and then I delete it, right? And then I go, well, it wasn't that bad. I'll go back to that and kind of use it as a stepping stone. And then I Control Z the fact that I deleted the keyframe. It trying to put the keyframe back will usually cause me a crash, which sucks. Crashing, it's just such a bad feeling. So I feel for you. But yeah, that's just technology. Animation's a complicated thing. It's hard to not crash ever, you know. No matter what software you go to. Frickin' Photoshop crashes on me sometimes, you know. It can't be helped. It can't be helped. Wow. What am I up to? This does not work like I think that it would. Unless it was way up here. It definitely doesn't. Control Z. My best friend. Oh. But yeah, don't miss the premiere because there may or may not be weaponry in the pilot that you guys have not seen yet in our clips. So that should be interesting. Ooh. I've been voicing Flip, our purple friend. I will be voicing Max Ammo in episode 2, and I will be voicing another character that is in the pilot that you guys have not met yet. And I think that's everybody. My wife voices Torque and April, and she will be voicing another character in the second episode named Damper. Okay. We have kids. I do not have kids. Not yet. Flip is the perfect specimen, can do no wrong. Big agree. That can is large. Let's make it smaller. This thing is freaking ridiculously large. Comically large. Something like that is probably the maximum that I could make it smaller. So let's now take this and make it smaller. Baby can. Okay. That's an interesting question. And I wish that I could answer it. But sadly, I can't answer it quite yet. But believe it or not, I have thought about it. I have indeed thought about it. We'll get there. Give it some time. There is much Skifters yet to unfold. Oh, it perfectly holds 4. Love that. Dude, this thing is gonna be awesome. Oh, look at that little can. You got it. Oh, cheeky, cute little. It's like a chubby. You know the chubby. You guys know what I'm talking about when I say chubby. Chubby soda. These were a big thing when I was a kid. I don't know if they still have them. Chubby soda. Yeah, this is what I'm going for. Look at those. It's like a soda pop. You take it to school, but it's like tiny. It's like a tiny little like. It's a 2-liter bottle, but it's like baby mode. That's what we're going for with this little can of Viper Bite, which is much smaller than the regular one. And I would love if it's like fast ballable, which I assume it will be. Yeah, it's the perfect size. Perfect. Okay, we're going to actually back this up. Just in case. Yeah. And then we're going to take this and we're going to make it not white. go with something more like this for now. We definitely want to put some splash of something on there, but for now we're going to leave that like that. We're going to make this that color, and we're going to say cool guy stuff. I think I want it to be able to open like that, so we can reload it. So we're going to make a split right here. And then that means I want to separate a second trigger. I don't know if I want this to go here necessarily. Okay, we're going to duplicate this, delete those faces, and then we're going to delete those faces. So now we have two separate meshes, which we can make a split with. Something like that. I know, I know. I no longer have any clue what I'm looking at. We're getting further and further away. We'll bring it back, I promise. It's going to be epic, to say the least. If you know exactly what you're looking at first glance, are we really being creative? Probably not. Just know that we are getting closer and closer to the vision here. I promise. Inevitable was the fall, you know. Does look cool, though. Thank you. We're getting there. Slow and steady. We're getting there. It's 12 o'clock. I got about 30 minutes left before I sadly have to go. But worry not. We'll be back at some point, I'm sure. But yeah. We can keep rocking until we run out of time. Time zones indeed. 5 hours is quite the jump. Connect components so that we can go like this for now. So we can see that NOS in all its glory. Beautiful. Beautiful. How's it going, Aki2? Crazy to do 2 streams in one day. I can never handle that. It is exhausting. Streaming is exhausting, but I like to say hi to y'all. Is Super Chat feature off? Would love to support in the future. Heck yeah. Super Chat is not on because my channel, I'm not partnered with YouTube. I don't have enough watch hours on my channel to monetize my content. So no super chats, no memberships, none of that. If you want to support, you can support on Patreon. That's probably the best place to do it. The pilot for my current series is actually live and available on Patreon. So if you're interested in watching it early, you can support me on Patreon to do so. Don't feel pressured if you cannot afford to support. You absolutely don't have to. But if you would like to, Patreon's the best place. And you get to watch the content early, which is epic. Eventually, Super Chats will be on, but my channel is too small for me to have access to them right now, unfortunately. Yeah, we'll get there. I'm really hoping, based on the hours that I need and my projected performance on the pilot, I'm hoping that once the pilot is out, it'll push us over that threshold that we need to achieve YouTube partnership. But right now, we are too small. Legasp will do. I also have a YouTube related question if you don't mind. I am always here to answer your questions if you ever have any related to anything that I'm knowledgeable on. But yeah, I hate encouraging people to be like, go to the Patreon. It makes me feel weird. But if you can afford it and you like the content, I greatly appreciate the patronage, because my dream is to work on this, not only this project, but future projects full time, which I cannot do for free because it's expensive. It's expensive work. And, I have to work a full-time job in addition to this animation job to be able to animate full-time. But I appreciate you. And yeah, whenever you want, hit me with your question, and I will do what I can. I'm not loving the red on this, and I think it's starting to throw me off. So until I know what I want this color to be, I might just make these gray or something, because the color's not really working. I like the blue much better. And then what if these accents were white? I'm already liking that better. So what if we turn this to be white? And that? No. And this? I'm just not really liking. Maybe it's the black I don't like. There's something about it, the color, that I don't like. Make that bank. Get that dough. Question is, how do you know that this kind of content was what you wanted to make for the animation side of YouTube? I've been battling to figure out my voice in the animation sphere. That's a really interesting question. Believe it or not. I need to chew on that for a sec. How did you know that this kind of content was what you wanted to make for the animation side of YouTube? The blue matched too well. Yeah, it's not really working. It can't be green, and it can't be royal blue or purple. There's a lot of restrictions. It can't be the color of our background, which is mostly space. So royal blue and purple don't really work. Those are hard to make stand out. It can't be green for spoiler reasons. So I'm thinking about just making all of these colors gray, just for now, just so I can model it, because it's starting to make me annoyed with it. So let's do that. Just for now. It might end up gray, but that's not my plan. I need to get in the right headspace here. So let's do that for now. And then I'll field your question here. I actually don't mind the gray, but I don't know that gray is what we're going to end up with. I'm thinking too much about the color. Let's Stop getting baited by the color and just model the thing. How did I know that this is what I wanted to do? I have this interesting. I'm sorry. So elaborate on the question. There's a lot of different kinds of animators on YouTube. What made you decide that you wanted to do this kind and opposite to something like CGP Grey or VisiPop? I have to quickly look up what CGP Grey. I don't know what that is. I know what VisiPop is. CGP Grey. Okay, gotcha. I think that it's really hard to not become a replication, an echo of what we like, if that makes sense. Oftentimes you start to work on something and it quickly becomes, a replication of the things that you enjoy. This is not necessarily a bad thing on paper. It's okay to be inspired, but it's not okay to do something with the intent of. Let me. I'm speaking too fast for what I'm actually thinking about. It's okay to set out to be like, I want to make something that's inspired by this, right? And then there's another side of that that's like, I'm going to make something that looks like XYZ because it's successful, right? Like I can look at VisiPop and say, man, VisiPop is successful. Man, Amazing Digital Circus is successful. Man, Worthy Kids is successful. And make that thing. And I have done this before. I have made something with that mentality in mind. And it is extremely depressing because you just make something that works and not something that you like, if that makes sense. So what that boils down to is you have to find the correct balance between making something that you like and making something that is going to work. And for me, there was a time when I was trying to replicate, and it's funny. Every time I make an animation, I end up making the morals of the lesson kind of related to the lessons that I'm learning at the time in real life, which is never my intention, but it kind of makes sense that I'm writing, things that I'm learning in real life. So back in the day, I learned this lesson when I was making this animation. Now, full disclosure, this animation is not as good as what I've currently got going on, but this is a cartoon that I made. Get out of here! I don't want this. This is a cartoon that I made about bowling, and there's a scene in this. I think it's right here. Like this scene. This character, his name is Cosmo, the guy with the big black hole head. So here, this character is seeing what this character is doing, and he's trying to replicate it. And then right here, this character says, he says something along the lines of, "You'll never truly be like authentically how great you can be as long as you're replicating what someone else has done. If you only spend your time trying to replicate, the only thing that you'll be is a cheap imitation. You're never going to be better than, you'll never be better at Tiger Woods by replicating Tiger Woods' swing. This is not true, but it's the philosophy of like, if you're trying to do what someone else is doing, you're just going to be a cheap imitation of them. You got to find what you like and what you think is cool and make that something special. You can still be inspired by somebody else doing it right, but that doesn't mean you have to become them. Like I can look at VisiPop, right? And I can be like, oh man, what makes VisiPop VisiPop? I don't even know. Sure, animation, boom. I just want to see things moving around. I can look at this and be like, okay, why do people like it? What makes it interesting? Is it the colors? They have a very similar palette going on for all their characters. They have this like red yellow thing going on for everybody. Is it the colors? Is it how expressive their face animations are? Is it like, is it the thick lines? Although they have a lot of like thick eyeliner and stuff. Is it like, I don't know. I can't talk about why this is special because I'm not an avid watcher, but it's easy to look at something like that and be like, okay, I'm going to try to do that. And then once you try to do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. So what I did when I learned this lesson was like, okay, forget about what works, forget about what people like, forget about what's interesting, to like everything has a chance of being successful. So I was like, if I want this to be fun, I'm going to worry, this is the biggest thing, I'm going to worry less about making something that I would want to watch and make something that I would want to make, which is not the same. I like watching stuff that's like got a bit more of an edge to it. I like watching stuff that's a little more heavy or emotional. I like watching stuff that has like a nice long, interesting plot line. I like making characters that are I like watching characters that are complicated and have a lot going on. And I learned quickly that I was like, I like watching that stuff, but I don't like making that stuff. So instead of trying to make that stuff, I'm gonna watch what I like to watch, and I'm gonna make what I like to make. So then I switched into this mode of like, okay, well, what would be fun to animate? Forget if it would be fun to watch. Because when I have some fun making it, I'm gonna put like hard work into it. It's gonna turn out way better, and that's what's gonna be successful, rather than trying to replicate something that someone else has done. So I don't know if that answers your question, because it took a long time to get to this point where I was like, what is fun to make? So find out what that is. Forget about like, what looks good, or like, would I watch this show if I like found it in the wild? Forget about that. Take a really tiny project and be like, cool, the scope of this is super small. Like, it's going to take me not long to complete it. And if you ever feel like overwhelmed by how long it's going to take, you've made it too big. For now, just make something small and go, what parts did I like to make? What part was fun? And then in your next project, because it's so small, you can immediately go through it all again and go, okay, I'm going to make that. I'm going to heighten that. So I really like making sorry, I'm not reading chat because I'm yapping it up. Oh, beauty. Fax and save. Saving. How's it going, Mystic? I used to make like smear frames. So before my channel is where it is now, I used to make animation with like these, like, I call them anime outlines, but they have like the black lines around everything to like show where everything is. It's a good strategy. It's born of 2D animation, and lots of animators use it. All the anime you see is like black outlines on everything. I used to animate a lot of dynamic stuff. I still do. And when I'd animate my dynamism in 3D, making smear frames was very challenging with that, with those lines in Maya, which was super frustrating. And I was like, I hate the part with the smears with the lines. And I was like, okay, why do I hate this part? I hate this part because the lines make it really awkward. Okay. Now, how do I fix this problem? I got to get rid of the lines. Once I get rid of the lines, I have a whole new set of challenges to deal with to make it work. But I also have a ton of new opportunities. And then I was like, okay, no more lines. And then I took the lines out and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to make smear frames now. Okay, what else don't I like? I can't think of anything off the cuff right now. But I keep on coming up with things that I dislike. And I'm like, okay, why am I doing that? Why would I spend my time making something that I don't like? Get rid of it. And then I get rid of the next thing and keep on iterating until I get to a point where I'm having fun with the entire project, which is where I am at now. It took a long time to get to this point, constantly iterating, which is why I'm like pushing for you to make smaller projects. Smaller projects let you go through the entire pipeline of your work a lot of times quickly and really zero in on like knowing what you do and do not like to make, and that is what you need to rock with, rather than worrying so much about what you don't like to watch. Because like pick a show you like. We all have one. Attack on Titan. I like Attack on Titan. It's really easy to look at Attack on Titan and go, okay, what makes that cool? I'll just do that because that's what I like. And then you make Attack on Titan again, and it's probably not going to be as good as Attack on Titan. Big surprise. And then you're sitting there like, well, frick, my thing is not as good. Of course it's not as good. Someone's already done that. Somebody's already done what you're trying to do. So make it's hard. It's a lot harder maybe to come up with a banging idea. But as long as you're trying to replicate, you'll only replicate. If you want to make something special, you got to chart your own course. That's my creativity. Uses a Blender animator. I can just use the line frame easily. Yeah, like that's amazing. And don't hear what I'm not trying to make a point of. I'm not saying that lines are bad. Millions of animators use lines because it's a great strategy. Like, that's awesome. But it challenged my fun. My fun factor was suffering because of the lines. And then I was like, okay, why is my fun factor suffering? Is it because of the lines? Bye-bye lines, no more. And now I have a harder time maybe pulling off a good silhouette. It's a little harder for me to show my characters doing what they're supposed to, doing what they're doing, because the lines are really helpful to sell those movements and stuff. But what I get out of it is a fun challenge rather than a frustrating challenge. So that is the long-winded apologies from I'm a yapster. But that's the long-winded reason why my stuff doesn't look like VisiPop or doesn't look like Digital Circus. Is because I'm not trying to do what they're doing, and I'm so happy for them being successful, and this stuff is awesome. That's great. But as long as I try to be VisiPop, I'll never be me, which is way more important to me. I believe I understand. I've had to stop after I posted my latest video to think about what I like within what I resonate with YouTube. Exactly. Separate what you like from what you like to make, and that is where you're going to find the good stuff. You are going to be so much more better off creating what you like to make and watching what you like to watch. You can get fueled and fired up by something without having to become it. It's such an important critical lesson to learn as a young animator, is like, just because someone else is successful doing that thing doesn't mean that you should do it. Like, there's a time and a place, honestly, like, to where that is okay. Certainly, like, there's a moment in time where you're like, I need to replicate something for effect. It's not so black and white. There's certainly times, I can't think of a practical example right now, but let's say you're doing like an homage project. You're doing like a whatever series, like Reanimated. We've all seen those for sure on like Newgrounds and stuff, where they'll do like a Reanimated project. Like, there's time and a place where you're like, okay, how did they achieve that? Because I want to achieve it for effect, and that is totally fine. But if you're looking to like make your little slice of YouTube, like you say, where it's like, who do I want to be on this platform? What do I want to do to set myself apart? That's an awesome question to ask. And if you just try to do what someone else does, all you're going to do is share their slice of YouTube that they've already cut out for themselves. Get your own slice, yo. And that's not a hey, don't be a copycat. Don't try to capitalize on other people's work. That's you're going to be just so much more fulfilled as an artist than when you come to this realization in the future, and then you have to kind of like backtrack and undo your style and alienate your audience because you're pivoting. You know, I don't wish that on anybody. Thank you for your help. It really clears things up, at least a good proportion of what I was confused about. Good. And I don't think that I could ever in a moment just be like, do this, and then your problems are solved. That's going to take some time for you to hone in on like what that really means to you, and find the difference between like what you like and what you don't. But my recommendation to everybody here that's looking to be an artist is like make a really small project, teeny tiny, just the tiniest little like whatever small thing. I'd much rather you do that and me say, oh, this was awesome, I wish there was more, than for you to spend 2 years on a project that realistically you're probably not going to like when you grow older and your style evolves and changes, and have only been through the pipeline once in 2 years. Save your 2-year project for when you've already figured that out and you know who you want to be and what you want to make. My projects keep getting longer and longer and longer because I'm learning this lesson where it's like, oh, now that I know my pipeline and now that I know who I am and what I want to be, I can bite off a little bit more and make this a bit more special. And every time I make something new, my power spikes, my skill increases dramatically every time. I'm like, okay, new project. What went wrong last time? What frustrated me? What do I need to capitalize on? Okay, I didn't like this, I didn't like that. Let's make those things better. And then every time, like episode by episode, things get a little better. It's nice to see. But every time I like make new characters, new script, new plot, new world, it just gets dramatically better. And that is gonna be sped up so much quicker when you make smaller projects. Just to start, not forever, because I know when I say small projects, no one wants to be like, no one wants to make like, oh, like this is just a little thing. It's only like a 10-second thing. 10-second thing is gonna make you so much better, so much faster. You know. My biggest concern was about figuring out within animation what I am and what I want to share with the world. While there's some marketing involved for growth, at least I know now. Yeah, and I'm still learning it. I'm still figuring out. Like, there's parts of Skifters that bug me or whatever. Like, not as much as other projects, but there's parts of this where I'm like, oh, this part sucks, or oh, this is not interesting, or whatever. I can't think of any right now because Skifters is pretty close to what I like. But there's certainly things when I make my next project, I'm going to be like, okay, this part stunk. Let's fix it. This part was whatever. Let's do. Oh, that part was awesome. Let's do that more. Like, how can I make that bigger and better? And that can be streamlined and sped up when you are a little bit like quicker, not rushing, but making stuff smaller. You know? Right, though, what you like and what you like to make falls into a category, and you find people hasn't touched a category and attack that adds some touches. Yeah, you gotta be able to see the difference, and like not get absorbed, not feel like, dude, I'm inspired by so many things. There's so many pieces of media that I enjoy, and if I like got inspired by all of them enough where I was like, I'm going to replicate all these things, it would just be a mess. You know what I mean? Like, I like so many things that are so different from each other that if I like, you know, narrow myself into a lane that's like, okay, I'm going to make this. Oh, but I wanted to have this and I want to have that. And then it just becomes all these different things. And I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. That is way less interesting to watch. I don't know. I don't want to be somebody who doesn't have that like special thing, that special flair. Oh, like you got to watch you got to watch Waffle Maker's animations because he does this really well. Like that is cool guy stuff. Instead of like, yeah, watch the show. It's just like overall, like it's okay. It's pretty good. Like that's not what I want you to go home with. I want you to go home with like, oh, dude, that guy's stuff. He's really good at this. And I don't know what that. Honestly, I don't know what that is or what I want that to be necessarily. But that's the experience that I want to give. Is like, why is my stuff special? And if I try to like do everything perfectly and make it like all these different things that work, I'm just gonna make a mess, and people are gonna go home going, "That was all right." Like there's all these things that he tried to do that I wish he'd like actually figured out or pushed into the right direction. And it's like, dang it, I want to make something that's like, oh, rewind that part. That was cool. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make this tool that you're seeing. The prospect when I made this was like, I want this to be divisive for the plot and helpful and cool, and I don't want it to be like anything else that I've seen or done. And I think that it will be. Like, the fact that you guys can't guess quite what it is makes me feel like I'm on the right track to doing that. It's looking so good. Dude, I have some really cool stuff planned for this tool. Excited for you guys to see it. What I heard before was people do like familiarity when it comes to new creators. So within that too, there's also being something sweet spot. Yeah, for growth, familiarity is good. Marketing's really good. Making something cool is peak. That is the most important thing. If you walk out of it going, yeah, it did really well, but in my opinion, it's whatever. You missed the mark. You should be your biggest fan. If you're not, you're not going to be fulfilled in your work. And at that point, just go get a job doing whatever, you know? You got to love it. When you love it, you're going to make it so much better. So, yes, keep marketing in mind. Keep internet presence in mind. Keep all those things in mind. But don't let it compromise your taste. It sounds like, honestly, Aki, it sounds like you're already on your way. You've already got the right mindset. You just need to trust your gut, trust your taste, and trust that you don't have to know everything. You don't have to have it all together. You're clearly aware enough that you know, like, okay, like your taste. You're at this point where like your taste isn't quite matching what you're capable of, and that's okay because you'll get there. You'll figure that out. You just need to like kind of find your spark of like, oh, like this is it. I found out what, my style is and what I want it to be. It sounds like you're honestly, you're very close. You might be closer than you think. Because being aware of these questions and stuff is very important. So just give it time. I don't know what you're working on right now, but don't worry so much about like, is this going to be what I want my style to be in 10 years? Don't worry about that. Make something that's fun right now, and then slowly keep zeroing in on that thing. Deleting these. I hate to say it, but I sadly have to end this stream. I have to go. I'll just read chat real quick. Your stuff feels special to me because your style is unique and not unique yet expressive enough. Feels like I'm not seeing anything elsewhere else genuinely. Heck yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And I will continue to hone just for you. I want to make something with a nice story. Do it. Means a lot coming from you. I finished my latest video. It was really focused on what I felt worked. Awesome. Love that. Save. Good call. Cool. Yeah. Thank you guys for hanging out. This prop is in a pretty good place. I'm probably going to stream again sometime this week, and we can finish it up together. But yeah, I sadly have to go. It was really nice to see you all again. The pilot, once again, the pilot for Skifters drops this weekend, Saturday at 5 p.m. Make sure that you don't miss it because it's going to premiere. We can all watch it together. I'll be there watching it with you guys. So mark your calendars. I'll make a little post about it on my YouTube. So make sure you hit the bell. Yeah. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.